My wife spent 32 years building the ranch we loved with our own hands. Before she passed away, she made me promise one thing. Never tell anyone about the inheritance until you know who truly deserves it. So when my son married a woman who constantly talked about family values, I stayed silent. I never mentioned that I had inherited my late wife's $1 million ranch. Exactly 1 week after the wedding, my daughter-in-law knocked on my door with a notary, a stack of legal papers, and the biggest smile I'd ever seen. She thought she had already won. She had absolutely no idea that my late wife had prepared something that would change all of our lives forever. The day my wife Emily passed away was the hardest day of my life. For over 3 decades, we had worked together before sunrise and long after sunset to build our Texas ranch from empty land into something beautiful. Every fence post carried our fingerprints. Every horse knew our voices. Every tree had a memory attached to it. Before taking her final breath, Emily squeezed my hand and whispered, "Promise me ... don't tell anyone about the ranch. Let people show you who they really are." First, I promised. A month later, the lawyer informed me that Emily had transferred the entire ranch into my name. It was worth well over $3 million. No one besides my attorney knew, not even my son, Daniel. Daniel had always been a kind boy while growing up, but after meeting Vanessa, something changed. She was charming in public, different behind closed doors. She constantly asked questions about money. How much savings do your parents have? What happens to the ranch someday? Who gets everything after your father? At family dinners, she never asked how I was feeling after losing Emily. She only asked whether I planned to retire. I answered every question with a smile. I haven't decided yet. That answer clearly frustrated her. 1 week after their wedding, I heard a loud knock at my front door. Standing outside were Vanessa, a middle-aged notary, and Daniel ... avoiding eye contact. Vanessa smiled sweetly. "Dad, we thought we'd help make your future easier." The notary opened his briefcase. Vanessa continued, "You're getting older. Maintaining such a large ranch must be exhausting." She slid several documents across my dining table. "I think it's time to transfer ownership now, while everything is simple." I looked directly at Daniel. He stayed silent. Vanessa leaned closer. "If you sign today, we'll let you keep living here." Those words hit harder than she could imagine. My wife had built this home. Now someone was offering to let me stay inside it. As a guest, I calmly asked, "What if I don't sign?" Her smile faded just a little. "It would just create unnecessary family problems." I nodded, then quietly walked into my study. Instead of grabbing a pen ... I grabbed Emily's envelope. The one she had instructed me never to open unless someone tried to take advantage of me. I returned to the dining room. "I think everyone should read this first." Vanessa looked confused. The letter was addressed to whoever believes they deserve what they never built. The room became silent. Daniel unfolded the letter with trembling hands. Emily's words filled the room. "If you're reading this because someone wants my ranch before my husband is ready to let it go ... then you've already failed the first test." Vanessa's confident smile disappeared. Emily continued, "This ranch was never about money. It was built with sacrifice. Whoever inherits it must first prove they value family over wealth." Daniel stopped reading. His voice shook. "There's more." The letter instructed everyone to meet the family attorney the following morning. Vanessa suddenly looked nervous. The next day, we entered the attorney's office. He placed a thick folder on the table. Inside were legal documents Emily had signed months before her death. The attorney smiled. Mrs. Emily planned for exactly this possibility. Vanessa's confidence vanished. The attorney explained, "The ranch could never be transferred through pressure, manipulation, or emotional coercion. Anyone attempting to force ownership would automatically lose every inheritance opportunity connected to Emily's estate." Vanessa looked shocked. "What?" The attorney calmly nodded. Mrs. Emily wanted character, not greed, to determine inheritance. Then came the biggest surprise. Emily had also created a charitable foundation. 10% of every year's ranch profits would help struggling farming families. The remaining ownership would eventually pass only to family members who actively worked on the ranch for at least 5 years without requesting ownership. No shortcuts, no signatures, no pressure, only earned trust. Daniel buried his face in his hands. I didn't know. I believed him. He admitted Vanessa had convinced him that transferring everything early was the smart financial decision. Instead, they had exposed their true intentions. Vanessa stood up angrily. "This is ridiculous." She stormed out of the office without saying goodbye. Daniel remained sitting. For the first time in years, he cried, "I'm sorry, Dad. I forgot what Mom actually wanted. That afternoon we returned to the ranch together. Without speaking, Daniel picked up an old shovel and started repairing broken fence posts, the same way he used to as a teenager beside his mother. He never mentioned inheritance again. Over the next several years, he visited every weekend. Not for money, for family. He learned to care for the horses, repair barns, plant trees, welcome visitors, exactly the way Emily once had. 5 years later, the attorney returned. He watched Daniel working before saying, "I believe Mrs. Emily would be proud. That day I transferred part ownership of the ranch to my son. Not because he was entitled to it, because he had finally earned it. As for Vanessa, she disappeared from our lives long before that day arrived. Sometimes the greatest inheritance isn't land. It's the lesson that greed can never build what love spent a lifetime creating." My late wife always believed that money reveals character faster than words ever can. The ranch stayed in our family not because someone demanded it, but because someone finally understood its true value. Remember this: anything gained through greed can disappear overnight, but what is earned with honesty, patience, and love can last for generations. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes that integrity is worth more than any inheritance.